Forget everything you knew about the land grab era of EV charging. We are currently witnessing a structural metamorphosis where dumb plugs are evolving into intelligent energy nodes. In the McKinsey-style breakdown, this is the pivot from Capex-heavy expansion to high-margin, software-defined resilience. The industry is no longer just selling electrons. It's selling grid stability and AI-managed uptime. Essentially, the charging station has stopped being a gas pump and started being a data center with a nozzle. Here is the industry's dirty little secret. While everyone screams about the number of plugs, the only number that matters is 16.4%. That's the average U.S. utilization rate. It's the equivalent of trying to run a restaurant where the tables are only occupied for 4 hours a day. To actually make a cent in this business, you need to hit the 30% death zone threshold. Anything less is just a very expensive way to decorate a parking lot. Most operators aren't running a business yet. They're running an accidental charity for EV drivers. Let's quantify the chaos. The situation, rapid adoption. The complication, policy ceilings and grid congestion mean the easy growth is over. We've hit a point where the grid is effectively telling us, I can't give you any more power. The resolution isn't more wires, it's decentralized supply chains and AI dispatch. We are moving from quantity to intelligence. It's like switching from a giant, leaking bucket to a precision-engineered irrigation system. Revenue is bloating, but margins are being put through a hydraulic press. We see a clear divergence. Those who export from a single point are losing, while those who decouple their supply chains are winning. Autel and Kempower are already localized to bypass the 2026 tariff walls. Vertical integration of silicon carbide modules, achieving 97.5% efficiency, is the only way to keep the lights on. If you're still buying off-the-shelf components, you're basically bringing a knife to a laser-guided missile fight. Localization isn't a nice-to-have, it's a survival mandate. The Buy America rules have turned North Carolina and Mexico into the new epicenters of the EV world. Autel's Monterrey plant is effectively a tariff shield for the North American market. In 2026, if your charger wasn't born in the same region it lives in, it's going to be taxed into extinction. It's like trying to ship a pizza from Rome to New York. It's cold, expensive, and nobody wants it by the time it arrives. We've mapped the quad-node redundancy that separates the survivors from the casualties. By spreading manufacturing across Shenzhen, Haiphong, Monterrey, and North Carolina, operators can pivot around trade disruptions in real time. This 100% mitigation of single-region risk is the McKinsey gold standard for supply chain resilience. It's the industrial equivalent of having 4 spare tires and 2 engines. It's overkill until the moment the bridge collapses. Control the module, control the market. Tesla's new lithium refinery and Autel's in-house SiC liquid-cooled modules represent the pinnacle of, quote, technological autonomy. When you own the 97.5% efficiency conversion logic, you stop being a victim of your supplier's price hikes. In 2026, the module is the new oil. Companies that outsource their core power electronics are essentially renting their own future from their competitors. In 2026, building a charger without a partner is just an expensive hobby. EVgo's lock-in with GM and Autel's 50,000-unit deal with LAS Parking are captive ecosystems. They guarantee utilization before the first shovel hits the ground. This isn't just business, it's territorial dominance. If you don't have an OEM or a utility as your best friend, you're a lone gazelle in a field full of lions. The market has bifurcated. En route is the 65% heavyweight, dominated by ultra-fast DC tech, where every second counts. Destination charging, at hotels and malls, is the SaaS-driven loyalty play. You can't win both with the same strategy. It's like trying to use a Formula One car to do a school run. It's technically possible, but you're going to look ridiculous and go broke doing it. Wallbox is turning the EV into a giant mobile battery. Their Quasar 2 isn't just a charger, it's a grid stabilization tool. By letting the car power the home for 5 days, they've created sticky value that a standard plug can't touch. They aren't just selling hardware, they are selling insurance against blackouts. It's the difference between a simple charger and a private power plant in your driveway. Alfen is winning because they solve the grid congestion ceiling. While others wait for a permit to upgrade the local substation, Alfen is the substation. By bundling chargers with substations in BESS, they bypass the bottleneck entirely. They've realized that the plug is useless if the grid says no. They aren't just selling the faucet, they are selling the entire plumbing system. This chart is the heartbeat of the transition. Hardware revenue is contracting by nearly 8%, while recurring services are surging at 12.5%. This is the SaaSification of infrastructure. In 2026, we don't care how many boxes you sold. We care about your annual recurring revenue. We've moved from the box-moving business to the subscription energy business. The charger is now just a Trojan horse for the software contract. Let's audit the charging as a service leaders. ChargePoint's CPaaS and EVGO's Extend are the new gold standards for asset-light expansion. By bundling hardware and maintenance into a subscription, they've turned a messy physical problem into a clean line on a balance sheet. It's essentially charging on lease. You get the utility without the headache of owning the plumbing. The Silicon Carbide revolution is the single most important hardware shift in a decade. Moving from legacy IGBTs to SiC is like switching from a typewriter to a MacBook Pro. We're seeing 97.5% conversion efficiency, which is effectively purifying the grid. This isn't just tech spec bragging, it's about heat management. Less heat means a 15-year lifespan instead of 7. It's the difference between a sprinter and a marathon runner. Forget passenger cars. The real money is in heavy-duty logistics. 1.44 megawatts. That's enough power to jumpstart a small neighborhood. Autel and Kempower are electrifying the corridor of commerce. This MCS standard is the holy grail for electric heavy trucks. If you can't charge a 40-ton truck in 30 minutes, you're just playing with toys. This is the industrial-grade endgame. This is how you spot a tech company masquerading as an infrastructure firm. ChargePoint is spending 3.9% of its revenue on R&D. That's a software company's burn rate. Tesla and Kempower are more disciplined, focusing on scale. A high R&D ratio is a bet on a software-only future. It's either a mark of genius or a sign that you're still trying to figure out how to make your hardware work. In 2026, the AI smart employee is managing your charging station. Autel's AI agents are performing autonomous self-healing and dynamic pricing. This is the death of the call center. If your station breaks, the AI has already diagnosed the failure and ordered the part before the CPO even knows there's a problem. It's like having a mechanic living inside every charger. Welcome to the financial postmortem. This is where the hype ends and the balance sheet begins. In 2026, the high interest rate environment has turned growth at all costs into a suicide pact. We are separating the fortress balance sheets from the companies that are essentially walking ghosts. It's time to see who is actually making money and who is just very good at burning it. This is the ultimate lie detector test. Tesla's OCF of $14.7 billion versus a modest net income shows massive earnings quality. Contrast that with Wallbox, where OCF is propped up by simply not paying suppliers. That's not a business model, that's a Ponzi-light liquidity strategy. High earnings quality is the only buffer against a recession. Everything else is just accounting creative writing. DSO and inventory turnover are the vital signs of this industry. Blink's 104-day DSO is a code red. It means they're essentially an interest-free bank for their customers. ChargePoint's 1.3x inventory turnover is the hallmark of obsolescence risk. If your boxes sit in a warehouse for that long, they're basically paperweights by the time they get installed. Tesla's 17.6 days is the benchmark that everyone else is failing to meet. Survival is simple math. Cash divided by debt. Tesla is sitting on a 5.38x fortress. EVGO is resilient at 3.2x. Wallbox is at 0.03x. That's not a risk. That's a crash in progress. In 2026, cash isn't just king. It's the only air in the room. Tesla is in a position to buy its competitors for pennies on the dollar while they choke on their own debt. We've hit the Nordic ceiling. When everyone in Norway already has an EV, growth stops. This is why Autel and Kempower are fleeing their home markets for APAC and the Middle East. Saturation is a localized infection that forces global expansion. To survive, you must go where the plugs aren't. It's the great migration of 2026, move or die. The endgame is the utility mobility convergence. By 2027, the charger, the car, and the robotaxi network will be a single, integrated AI ecosystem. NACS standardization is just the first step. The real prize is the robotaxi network integration, where the car charges itself and pays the grid autonomously. We are moving from plugging in to autonomous energy participation. Data is the only hedge against uncertainty. If you need the full-page forensic audit behind these insights, email the HDIN research team. Don't invest on a hunch, invest on the OCF. Send your inquiries to sales@hdinresearch.com or visit our portal at hdinresearch.com. Subscribe to at HDIN 230 to make sure you're the smartest person in the room during the 2027 shakeout.